Today is the 8th of March and a continuing update for euro dollar and the dollar. And on the coverage on the 6th and the 7th, it showed this, which is a trend line, just placed vertically to mimic a candlestick in this sort of position, with the expectation of a decline to the downside. And today's price action being the 8th, you can see off the 61.8% retracement of this first wave, we have at this moment in time this bearish price action today, which is now sort of filling in what the expectation was potentially for what is labelled in euro dollar as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by a 3-wave rally, 3-wave decline, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. In euro dollar, this fifth wave of this C wave has just pipped above what it would be labelled as the top of wave 3, which you can see, if I just move that to the right slightly, you can see that just there. So this has just pipped above there. That's sufficient, but in the dollar, if we're looking at this as the reverse of this, we would have our wave 1, A, B, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, with the fifth wave truncated and didn't break below the low of wave 3. But we've started to rally and we've pierced back through what would be the low of wave 1, unless this is something of a 1, A, B, C, 2, but I doubt that. From that perspective there wouldn't be sufficient room. That doesn't mean that this isn't a 1, 2 and we're going to come down and break below the low of what is labelled at this moment in time as the fifth wave. And the coverage on the 7th, which identified that the RSI would finish around a bullish 40 reading or above. You can see yesterday's close was at 44, and then today we'll get the rally, or when this closes at 21.59 tonight, that oscillator RSI will show that close up. On the daily, on the euro dollar, this trend line here, this dashed line, was added yesterday, which is this one here, in anticipation with this bearish candle, as I mentioned also from there. That can be deleted, but this, we will now see that ping down to the downside. So at this moment in time, this is labelled as a 1, ABC2. It's looking as if this is potentially correct, but as I mentioned, this fourth wave may not be complete at this moment in time, although I do have labelled on the weekly chart this labelled as a potential 1, 2 also, which is seen here. This is our last fifth wave high, which is the week closing 16th of February, and since then we've been in this potential 1 ABC2 to the downside. Now in the dollar, if that is the end of this 5-wave correction to the downside, we could have possibly our 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4, and then a fifth wave potentially to the upside. As I mentioned, that would take out the 103.85, and if this correction is also complete, euro dollar would take out the 103.516 if that correction is potentially complete here. That remains to be seen, because this is only a wave 1, A, B, C, 2. Potentially we'd need to see waves 3, 4 and 5 to add more confirmation that this correction, if correctly labelled, is indeed complete. As I mentioned, that remains to be seen. So we'll continue to watch an update and see how this position unfolds.